I used to think summer meant sacrificing my style for comfort. Then a stylist showed me 5 cuts that do both, and I haven't looked back since. If you're over 70 and dreading another hot season of pinning your hair up just to survive the heat, this video is going to change how you think about summer hair completely. I'm going to walk you through 5 haircuts that keep you cool, keep you effortless, and honestly, make you look more beautiful than you have in years. I researched the best hair solutions for women over 70 so you get real, wearable answers, not trends that only work on 25-year-olds. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every single week. Part 1. The chin length bob that breathes. Here's something most women don't realize until it's too late. The length you've worn for the last decade might be exactly what's making summer unbearable. It's not the heat outside working against you. It's the extra 2 or 3 inches of hair sitting against your neck all day, every day, trapping warmth right where you feel it most. Diane told me she used to soak through her collar by 10 in the morning just walking to get her mail. She wasn't imagining it. Hair past the jaw acts almost like insulation, and on a mature head of hair, that weight also pulls color and shine downward, away from the face, aging the whole look before you've even done anything wrong. The fix is a precise chin-length bob, cut with what stylists call a slight forward graduation, meaning the front pieces sit a touch longer than the back. This isn't a blunt, heavy bob from the 80s. It's cut with internal layering through the crown, so the hair lifts naturally away from the scalp instead of clinging to it. Ask your stylist for point cutting at the ends rather than a clean blunt line. Point cutting removes just enough weight that the hair moves with air instead of sitting like a helmet. The result is a cut that sits an inch or so above the shoulder, schemes the jaw, and lets air actually reach your scalp and neck for the first time in years. What actually changes here goes beyond comfort. When hair sits at the jawline instead of below it, it draws the eye horizontally across your cheekbones instead of pulling everything downward toward the chin and neck. Stylists call this a lifting line, and it's the same principle used in face framing color placement. Diane said the first thing her daughter noticed wasn't even the cut itself. It was that her face looked more awake, more rested, like she'd had a full night's sleep instead of the usual summer exhaustion. The internal graduation also solves a problem specific to fine, thinning hair, which most of us deal with by our 70s. Without layering, fine hair at this length can look thin and stringy by midday. With the graduation built in, each section supports the one above it, creating the illusion of thickness even when the strand count hasn't changed at all. Ask specifically for graduated layering built from the interior, not just layered ends, because that distinction is what keeps the shape from collapsing by afternoon. Styling it takes almost no effort, which matters more in summer than any other season. A light mousse at the roots, rough dried with fingers rather than a brush, and you're done in under 10 minutes. No heat styling required most days, which means less damage and less time standing over a hot dryer in already warm weather. The before was hair that clung, wilted, and pulled her face down by noon. The after is a bob that lifts, breathes, and holds its shape through a full day of summer heat without a single touch-up. And that forward graduation we just talked about? It's actually the same secret trick colorists use to make silver hair look luminous instead of flat, which is exactly where we're headed next. Part 2. The silver shag that steals attention. Most women over 70 have been told the same thing for decades. Keep it simple, keep it safe, keep it short and controlled. But here's what almost nobody tells you. A little controlled chaos in your cut can actually read as more youthful than a perfectly smooth style ever could. Patricia came to me after years of the same tidy pixie, feeling like her hair had started disappearing into the background of her own face. She wasn't wrong to feel that way. Extremely uniform, tightly controlled cuts can flatten silver and gray hair, because there's no texture to catch the light and create depth. The fix is a modern shag, cut specifically for silver and gray hair, using heavy layering with disconnected pieces around the crown and face. This is not the choppy, thinning shag from decades past. A proper silver shag uses razor cut ends rather than scissor cut, which softens the tips and creates the texture that makes light bounce differently across each layer. Ask your stylist for disconnected layering at the crown, meaning the top layers are cut noticeably shorter and separate from the length below, rather than blending smoothly into it. This creates volume exactly where mature hair tends to lose it first. The heat factor matters just as much here as the styling result. Shorter, disconnected layers mean less hair sitting flat against the scalp trapping heat. And the airiness that makes the cut look effortless is the same quality that keeps you cooler through July and August. Patricia said she noticed the temperature difference within the first week, before she'd even fully adjusted to the new shape in the mirror. Here's the part that genuinely surprised Patricia, and it might surprise you too. Texture reads as youth to the eye in a way smoothness simply doesn't. A perfectly flat, controlled style can actually add years, because it removes all the natural movement that younger hair typically has. The disconnected layers in a shag mimic that same organic movement, which is why this cut consistently reads 5 to 7 years younger than a smooth, uniform style at the exact same length. It's not about length or even color. It's entirely about the way light interacts with texture. For styling, a texturizing spray applied to damp hair before air drying is really all this cut needs. Scrunch gently at the roots, let it dry naturally, and the layers do the rest of the work themselves. If you want a little extra lift on a humid day, flip your head upside down for 30 seconds while it finishes drying. That's it. No curling iron, no flat iron, no standing in front of a mirror for 20 minutes in already hot weather. The before was a smooth, tidy pixie that had quietly started aging her by removing all sense of texture and depth. The after is a shag with movement, light, and dimension that people actually stop to compliment. Patricia told me a woman in line at the grocery store asked who did her hair, and that had genuinely never happened to her before. Now, if a shag feels like more texture than you're ready for, there's actually a gentler version of this same lifting principle, and it starts with something as small as your fringe. Part 3. The curtain fringe that softens everything. I want to tell you about a detail so small most women skip right past it, and yet it might be the single most flattering thing you can add to any summer cut. It's not a haircut on its own. It's an addition to whatever length you're already wearing, and it costs you almost nothing in maintenance. Roberta had worn her hair the same way for 15 years, no fringe, nothing framing her face, and she genuinely believed that was simpler. What she didn't realize was that bare, unframed faces can actually look harder and more severe as skin naturally softens with age, not less. The fix is a curtain fringe, parted center and swept back on both sides, so the pieces frame rather than cover the face. The key technical detail here is length. A curtain fringe for mature faces should hit right at the cheekbone, not the eyebrow, and should be cut with heavy point cutting so the ends feather rather than form a hard line. Ask your stylist specifically for face framing pieces cut at a diagonal angle from the part, blending into the rest of your length rather than sitting as a separate, obvious section. This diagonal cut is what allows the fringe to sweep naturally to either side instead of falling flat against the forehead. What this actually does structurally is soften the exact areas that show the most visible change over time: the temples and the outer corners of the eyes. Cheekbone length pieces sweep gently across those areas rather than exposing them fully. And the diagonal cut means the fringe moves with your face rather than sitting rigid. Roberta's result surprised even her stylist. Within one cut, her whole expression read as softer and warmer, without a single thing changing about her actual features. That's the real power of a curtain fringe. It doesn't hide anything. It just softens the frame around what's already there. For summer specifically, this addition solves a problem a lot of women don't expect. A full, blunt fringe traps heat and sweat directly on the forehead, which is miserable once temperatures climb. A curtain fringe, because it's swept to the sides rather than falling straight down, keeps that same face framing benefit without ever sitting flat against damp skin. It's the rare detail that works better in July than it does in January. Styling takes seconds. Damp hair, a small round brush pulled through while diffusing, sweeping each side outward and slightly back. Once it's dry, it holds that soft sweep on its own for the rest of the day, humidity and all. The before was a bare, unframed face that had quietly started to look more severe with each passing year, without Roberta ever changing a thing about her length or color. The after is soft, cheekbone grazing pieces that warm her whole expression in a single cut. And that same softening principle, framing rather than covering, is exactly what makes our next cut work so well for anyone with real thinning at the crown. Part 4. The pixie crop that lifts the crown. Thinning at the crown is one of those things almost nobody talks about directly. even though it affects the majority of women by their 70s. Most of us just adjust our part, add a little extra product, and hope nobody notices. Susan did exactly that for years, carefully combing her part to one side to disguise thinner coverage at the top of her head. The problem is that longer hair at the crown, even when carefully arranged, actually makes thinning more visible, not less, because the weight of longer strands pulls flat against the scalp and reveals the gaps beneath it. The fix is a cropped pixie with what's called root directional cutting at the crown specifically. This means the hair right at the top of the head is cut short enough, usually under 1.5 inches, that it can be styled to stand upward rather than lie flat. Ask your stylist for texturizing shears used specifically through the crown section, which thins the ends without shortening the overall length dramatically, creating a soft, feathered finish that catches light instead of showing scalp. This is different from a uniform buzz or an overly severe crop. The sides and back can stay slightly longer, tapered close to the neck, while the crown itself gets this specific short, textured treatment. Here's the part that changed everything for Susan. Short, textured hair at the crown creates what stylists call optical density, meaning the eye reads more hair simply because the strands are standing upright and catching light from multiple angles instead of lying flat in one direction. It's a visual trick, but it's an incredibly effective one. Susan's crown coverage hadn't actually changed at all. What changed was how that coverage was styled and cut to work with the texture she had rather than against it. For summer, this cut is close to unbeatable. Short hair at the crown means almost nothing sits against a sweating scalp on a hot day, and root directional cutting means you don't need heavy styling product to get lift, since the cut itself is already doing that work. A small amount of texturizing powder worked into just the roots, using your fingers to lift rather than a comb, gives you the volume you need in under 2 minutes. The result goes beyond comfort. A well-cut pixie with crown lift genuinely draws the eye upward and outward, which has the effect of making the whole face appear more open. Susan told me her granddaughter said she looked lighter, and that's exactly the word stylists used to describe what this cut is designed to do. The before was a longer, carefully arranged part that unintentionally revealed more thinning the longer it grew. The after is a short, textured crown with genuine lift and coverage that holds all day, heat and humidity included. Now for our final cut, we're going somewhere completely different, because sometimes the most flattering choice over 70 isn't short at all. Part 5. The long layered sweep nobody expects. Here's the one that surprises people most. Everyone assumes that after 70, shorter is automatically better, and that long hair is a young woman's game. Ellen believed that too, right up until the day her stylist talked her out of cutting off 8 inches she'd been growing for 2 years. What Ellen didn't know is that long hair, cut correctly, can actually be more flattering on a mature face than short hair, because length gives layering room to work with in a way short cuts simply don't allow. The fix is a long, heavily layered sweep, cut to collarbone length or slightly below, using long layer graduation starting just below the cheekbone. This is not one uniform length with blunt ends. The layering here needs to be aggressive, meaning multiple layers cut at different lengths throughout, so the hair has genuine movement instead of hanging as one heavy sheet. Ask your stylist for face-framing long layers combined with internal thinning through the mid-lengths, which removes bulk from the middle of the hair, without shortening the overall length. This is what keeps long hair from looking like dead weight on a mature face, which is the actual mistake, not the length itself. The internal thinning is the real secret here. And it's the exact reason most long cuts on mature hair fail while this one works. Without it, long hair on finer, mature strands tends to look thin and flat, dragging the whole face downward. With aggressive internal layering, the hair has lift at the roots and movement throughout, so even with real length, the overall effect reads as full rather than sparse. Ellen said the difference showed up the moment her hair was blow-dried for the first time after the cut. It moved when she turned her head, something it hadn't done in years. Summer heat is actually where this cut earns its keep the most. Because the internal layers remove so much bulk, there's far less hair sitting against the neck and shoulders than the length would suggest. Ellen said she expected to feel hotter with longer hair, and was surprised to find the opposite was true, because the weight had been thinned out so thoroughly throughout the mid-lengths. Styling calls for a lightweight sea salt spray on damp hair, then air drying with an occasional scrunch. If you want a bit more shape, A large barrel curling iron used only on the ends, curled away from the face, gives you soft movement without heavy heat styling across the whole head. The before was hair Ellen was ready to cut off entirely, convinced length was working against her. The after is a full layered sweep that moves, catches light, and reads younger than the short cut she almost chose instead. 5 completely different lengths, 5 completely different solutions, and every single one built to survive a hot summer, while making you look genuinely more beautiful than the season before. You now know 5 completely different summer cuts, from a lifted bob to a long layered sweep, and exactly what to say to your stylist for each one. That's 5 real solutions in your back pocket for the next time you're sitting in that chair. And honestly, that's more than most women your age will ever walk in with. Which one of these 5 are you most tempted to try this summer? The crown-lifting pixie or that long layered sweep nobody expects? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Next week I'm covering exactly how to talk to your colorist so baby lights actually work with your natural silver instead of fighting it. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Beauty, and I'll see you in the next one.